304, please. You haven't seen my wife come in, have you? We lost each other in the crowd.
Did you have a reservation?
Oh, we've been here 3 days.
What name did you say?
Paul Temple, 304.
Well, I'm afraid there must be some mistake.
Mistake?
Room 304 is occupied by Mr. and Mrs. Hufschmidt.
No, no, that's ridiculous.
You see, we are absolutely full up. And without a reservation. I'm sorry.
Mr. Temple?
Yeah?
It's about your wife. There's been an accident. My car's outside. Please, this way.
Just a minute. You mean my wife has had an accident? Where?
Please, I will take you.
Hello again. Mr. Temple, isn't it? Come in. Please.
Well, you realize I've been dropping breadcrumbs all the way. What now? Well, can I take this off now? Steve?
My dear welcome to our house.
Thank you.
My little dog.
Some joke.
Oh, come on. Don't be smart. I don't think you've met my daughter, Ushi, have you?
So glad you decided to join the party.
You promised me to be my guest next time you were in Munich. So when I heard you were in town...
You naturally made quite sure.
I made quite sure. Yes.
Well, I must say you went to a hell of a lot of trouble.
Oh, don't be angry. This is fashion, you see. Carnival time. And in fashion, we do foolish things. We make fun.
Fun?
It's just what my husband wanted me to see, the real fashion.
This way, please. You will enjoy our party tonight. We are celebrating fashion in the traditional manner.
I must say you really are thorough.
Paul, there is another reason why I wanted to see you. I have had threats.
Threat?
Yes.
What about?
I don't know. Just these threats, odd phone calls.
Well, have you been to the police?
It's hardly yet a police matter. I mean, it may be just some joke. They say something will happen tonight, so I thought...
You thought Paul Temple's in town, so...
You don't mind?
Well, do I have a choice?
So you say?
We'd be delighted to, wouldn't we?
Mrs. Temple, would you like? This is a trick class, you know. Isn't it funny? Marching in Munich is stupendous.
You mustn't mind my husband too much, Mr. Temple. Once a year in fashion, we let ourselves go, you see.
Must become a bit of a burden sometimes, doesn't it?
Oh, no, never.
What's the matter? Don't tell me you're tired already.
No, I'm just a little out of breath.
Oh, you know, in fashion we must all be young for 6 weeks and are not allowed to be tired.
Are we allowed to be thirsty?
Certainly. And Mr. Schroeder here will be less full than I was. Oh, you recognize me. Only to pass on this young lady on to you for refreshment.
I understand one must stay with it at all costs.
I'm trying very hard.
I mean, you feed them 3 times a day.
3 times, 4, 5. Oh, you don't know how much they eat. Oh, my dear Countess, will you excuse me, please? Hello, Countess.
Isn't it absurd?
Oh, I don't know.
The Nero complex of bourgeois Munich society.
Well, don't be a masochist. Why stay here?
Just a comment. At midnight, I shall vanish.
Oh, I mustn't miss that.
Excuse me, Mr. Temple. There's a telephone call for you.
Hello? Hello?
Don't move, Mr. Temple. A word of advice. Bauman has it coming to him. Don't let him involve you.
Thank you.
I will.
That's good. Because if you do, it might become unpleasant for you.
You still there?
Ladies and gentlemen! Ladies and gentlemen, time has not yet come for unmasking, for finding out who's friend and who's foe. But it is time for you all to pay homage to your very own fascist prince and princess. Now, this is neither the time nor the place to talk business. But this I must say. For the first time, the houses of Schroeder and Son and Baumann Electronics form one happy family, putting an end to the cutthroat competition from which we both have suffered for too long. We have chosen Hans and Uschi to be our prince and princess in token of our new partnership. All this you know. What you do not yet know is that Uschi and Hans have become engaged to be married.
I don't want to do this. Strange. No, I don't think it's... Look, I don't know.
It's all so romantic.
Yeah, I don't know about romantic. I think it's all very odd. Darling. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I told you it was romantic.
Yes, I know you did, but that was another fella.
Oh, yes, she's supposed to be engaged to Hans.
That's right.
I want to dance.
No, later.
No, I want to dance
Not
now.
with your mouth full.
Dance with my mouth.
Steve. You're never going to get you out of here.
Sorry. It's not allowed.
What is it?
Husband and wife dancing together.
Oh, so sorry.
In Fasching, this is not allowed.
Mrs. Temple, may I?
Well,
Congratulations.
what?
Your engagement.
Thank you.
So glad you forgive me for the trick this afternoon.
Oh, if I'd known I was going to be kidnapped by royalty, I'd have been honored.
Sometimes my father's like a child with his practical jokes. You don't want to take anything too seriously that you see happening during Fasching.
Anything.
For instance, what you saw back there.
Oh, I don't remember seeing that.
Thanks. I wouldn't want to spoil my father's evening.
Your father's evening? I thought it was yours.
I've got to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, midnight, and the time for unmasking has come. For a moment or two, we leave you in the dark so that those who do not wish to be found out can disappear.
I know who you are. I know it. You are the Countess. Come on, unmask. 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 There! I love you, unmask.
Come up to my office when I call. There's something you must take to Mr. Temple.
Yes, sir.
In front of the National Theatre, 11:30, secrecy essential. Meet me in front of the National Theatre, 11:30. Matter of life and death. Bauman.
Well, sport.
You've had enough.
In Fashing, everything is allowed. Even too much champagne.
Yes, I know. Kidnappings, disappearances, anonymous voices. My God, the trouble they all go to.
Oh, I think it was a marvellous party. I'm glad they asked us.
Asked us, they hijacked us.
You're just peeved because they took you in.
Not for a moment. I wasn't taken in for a moment.
Then where do you think he is now?
I've no idea, darling, and I couldn't care less.
Who's there? Who is there? What's that?
Rise and shine. The sun's burning your eyeballs out.
Oh, go away.
Oh, not feeling too good, eh?
Where have you been?
Nowhere. I'm just going to hunt our missing magnet and give him a piece of my mind.
But how do you
I'll
know
see you
where
later,
to
darling.
look for? Oh. Meet me in front of the National Theatre, 11:30. Secrecy essential. Matter of life and death. Bauman.
Mr. Temple, Mr. Bauman is expecting you. Please follow me.
Oh, I said, do you mind? Sorry? The noise! Oh, my head, it's...
Oh, I can do it later.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mrs. Temple.
Is it?
I know how you feel. After a few weeks of it, we've got our second wind. Hmm?
Oh, no, I don't think I've got my first one yet.
Yes. Prost.
Frost.
Any sign of our host and hostess?
Good morning, Otto.
Good morning, Julia.
I didn't expect to see you so early. There for me?
A small token of appreciation.
How kind of you. Thank you. Anna, bring me a vase, please.
And also to remind you that you are my guests tonight.
Tonight?
The best of all fashing balls. I have a box.
Oh, that's awfully kind of you.
We're all going, surely.
I don't think I could.
Didn't Bauman tell you?
Well, actually, he didn't come back last night after disappearing.
Never came back?
No. I suppose, strictly speaking, he is missing.
You don't think something's happened to him?
Oh, good heavens, no. But Bauman is not a child.
I think some fresh air will revive you.
Oh, that's awfully kind of you, but
I was going to suggest a walk.
I expect Hans will be calling for you shortly.
I promise we won't run away.
Excuse me, there's a telephone call from Mr. Temple.
Yes?
Oh, I'll take it, shall I?
Yes, please.
Excuse me.
Julia, I promise you I had no idea when he asked me to change places with him that this would happen.
No, I'm sure you didn't.
Who is that? What do you want? What do you mean, a friendly warning? Hello? Hello? All right. Why don't we take that walk?
Can I help you? I am Mr. Bauman's secretary.
Ah, there seems to be nobody about.
I am about. What can I do for you?
Well, I have, at least I think I have an appointment with Mr. Bauman.
That can't be.
I'm sorry?
Mr. Bauman is on holidays.
Is he really? Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir.
You sure?
I'm positive. But if you would care to leave your name...
No, excuse me.
Just a minute. What do you think you're doing? Please, you can't just walk into a private office.
I have, and thank you.
You didn't just want to take me for a walk, did you?
No. I think I can explain that telephone call to you. Promise not to tell anyone.
What, about the phone call?
No. About this. I think you met Michael last night.
Yes, we've met. Briefly.
Ah, Mrs. Bauman.
Mr. Templar, hope you've had a pleasant walk.
Well, it was a wild goose chase. But then, I think you know that, don't you?
No, I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Why don't we have a little talk about your husband's disappearance?
Well, all right. Consider me then as a species of payola.
Of what?
Present for services rendered. At least that's what we hope will be the outcome. We play for high stakes.
Michael has a way of putting things.
I call a spade a spade.
I'm still not quite sure that I follow you. Now, if it's you two who want to get married, then...
Well, look, I can't say that I approve of the institution of marriage wholeheartedly.
Well, thank you very much.
But in your case, I'm willing to stretch a point.
So last night's engagement to Hans Schroeder was...
Politics. Dynastic politics, you might say.
Unfortunately, my father doesn't quite approve of Michael.
In other words, he hates my guts. On the other hand, Daddy's heart is where his pocket is.
And he's had his heart set on this merger. But Schroeder wasn't easy to persuade. So, my engagement to Hans was a means of softening him up. Once the deal is made, I can go to Father and say, I've helped you get what you want. Now let me have what I want.
So it escalated. First, this absurd business of playing prince and princess.
Which was not our idea.
Of course not. All part of softening up the dance.
Oh, this means that Hans was...
Was playing the game with the rest of us.
Hans was no more serious about this engagement than I am.
Well, then, if you're all playing games, I suppose your father's disappearance...
Well, that's a different game.
Careful.
But I promised we'd tell her.
Oh, but Daddy won't like it.
Oh, come on. It's only a hoax, after all.
Of course it was a hoax. No one was meant to take it seriously.
Not even me.
Well, you were meant to... you were part of it.
Yes, so I gather.
Your reputation, and he couldn't resist it when he heard you were in Munich. He said it would give his disappearance an extra dimension.
Really?
I know. During fashion, sometimes he is like a child.
And that's all there is to it?
Oh, that's all. Honestly, that's all. Will you forgive us? Let's have some champagne, yes?
All right. No. Who shall we drink to? I know. Absent friends. When do you think your husband will be back, then?
Oh, he'll be back in time for the ball tonight. He wouldn't miss that. It's the highlight of the year.
Come in, I'm all of you.
What a view.
Mrs. Temple, would you like to dance?
Oh, I'd love to.
Now, let me explain this Munich fashion to you. You see, it is because we in Munich are rather stuffy people.
Oh, you could have fooled me.
No, really. Rather stiff, conventional, very, how do you say, inhibited.
Yeah, well, that's not how I'd have described all this.
Exactly. Once a year we let go. We are safe behind our masks and we let go. speak to strangers. We do all the things we wouldn't do for the rest of the year. We let off steam because there is so much steam to be let off. Isn't that right?
Perhaps when we put on sackcloth and ashes the day after tomorrow, we've earned it.
The hard way.
You can say that again.
Washing is, you might say, for the health.
Speaking of sackcloth and ashes, isn't it time that Fritz made his appearance?
Maybe he's too ashamed to turn up.
Oh, what a way to speak of your father.
Didn't he tell you when we might expect him when you saw him this morning?
Oh, I didn't see him.
No, at his office, I mean. Well, I'm afraid, but I knew of his note to you.
Yes, but he wasn't there. I thought I told you. I only saw his secretary.
Who?
His secretary watched
No, that's not possible. The whole place is closed. That's why he chose it as his hiding place.
Nevertheless, the man was there.
A man?
Yeah.
No, but my husband's secretary isn't a man. She is on her honeymoon.
Oh, what?
Hippies, dropouts, communists, potheads.
Death to fashion. Is it some sort of demonstration?
By the Anti-Fasching Brigade. People who want to stop our fun. Isn't that right, Father?
Hans!
If you'll forgive me, I don't think I feel well. Excuse me.
She all right?
Oh, I put her to bed and she's taken a sedative. Oh. Paul, do you really think Bauman's been kidnapped?
Well, it would explain why she's so frightened. I don't know, maybe the joke's turned sour.
There's no evidence of a kidnapping.
Well, that's the whole point. There's no evidence of anything.
What's that?
Quiet, quiet. I knew where the lights were.
What is it? What's happening?
Did you hear anything?
I heard a noise.
Who else is in the house apart from us?
The servants, but they are all...
Did you see anything?
No, whoever it was has gone. I didn't see anybody.
Will you please tell me what's going on?
Well, it's probably another Fasching prank or something.
I hoped it was my husband, but where is he, Mr. Temple? Where is he?
You did see who it was, didn't you?
No, I didn't. But I could have sworn...
What?
That was Schroeder's car just now.
But we left Schroeder in hands of the ball.
I know. The whole thing doesn't make sense. I wish I knew whether this was a
Paul?
game.
He wasn't here before.
Bauman must pay.
I'm sorry, I'm terribly sorry. It was on my bed.
What does it say?
Bauman pays before Ash Wednesday.
I know something's wrong. You see, it started as a joke, but I swear to you now it isn't a joke any longer. Something has happened to my husband.
Can you think of anyone who might wish to do this? Somebody who wishes him harm?
My dear Temple, if you want to get on in life, if you want to succeed, you must accept the fact that you're going to make enemies. I suppose you might have called Bauman and me enemies until recently. Strictly in business, of course.
But now you're not.
What?
Enemies.
Now we're partners. That's the way it goes.
As a matter of interest, how did this merger come about?
I'm sorry?
Well, after all these years.
Oh, you mean there's a connection?
Well, somebody with an axe to grind. Who knows? Unless you kidnapped him.
Nobody's kidnapped him. Come on, Temple. When you wouldn't swallow it, he wouldn't just give in. He had to go one better. Perhaps in a doubtful taste, but that's Fritz.
Hello, Hans.
Hello, Mr. Temple. I heard you were here. Is it about Uschi?
Have a look at this.
When did it arrive?
Last night. There was one for me and one for Mrs. Bauman. Oh, I forgot to mention it. The person who delivered it left in your car.
My car? But that's not possible.
Well, of course, I could be mistaken. If you'll excuse me, I have to go and try and find your missing partner.
You know where he is?
No, not yet. But I've got a feeling if I go on digging long enough, somebody's going to point me in the right direction.
I have work to do.
I'm sure you have.
If we're going the same way, why don't you join me?
Do you ever wonder, looking at those happy, alcoholic faces, age 45 and over, do you ever wonder what they did in the war, Daddy?
No, I try not to.
You should. Shall we walk? You think my father has something to do with Bauman's disappearance, don't you? My father is a good business, Mr. Temple. My father's a living representative of German economic miracle.
I'll take your word for that.
So you must ask yourself why he should decide to sell out. Sell out to Bauman, that other and even bigger German economic miracle. Why a marriage should be arranged.
You're married?
Mm-hmm. My marriage.
You mean you had no say in it?
I mean... My father is a strong man, Mr. Temple. And Mr. Bauman is a strong man. And when two such strong men...
Hans, I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
The case of the irresistible force and the immovable object. Irresistible force, immovable object. Nuclear fission. Death and mayhem.
Do you know him?
I came to bring you a key.
Really?
Bauman's office.
Where'd you get it?
From my father.
How?
Now, isn't that an interesting question? Stay among people.
Hello? Hello, who's there, please? proposed merger between Bauman Electronics and Schroeder and Company.
Hans, you're not making any sense. Can't it wait until Paul gets back?
No.
I don't want to leave Mrs. Bauman.
It is very important. Oh, she's in trouble.
So you keep saying, what sort
She
of
asked me
trouble?
to fetch you. She said you'll understand.
I
That's all I
don't.
know. Will you come or not?
Oh, right. Well, wait until I get my coat.
I had a feeling I might find you here.
Did you?
May I come in?
Oh, please, feel free. It's your partner's office.
Since I saw you, I've been thinking. Perhaps I was wrong in taking this thing so lightly. Perhaps we ought to go to the police.
Well, I hope that won't be necessary.
Did you find here anything that might give us a lead?
Yes, I think so.
Then you know what's happened to him?
No, not yet, but I'm hoping you'll tell me.
Aye.
What do you stand to gain?
I don't know what...
I mean, what was in your mind? Revenge? Or a last-minute attempt to scare him off?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Schroeder, I'm no financial expert. But even I can recognize a raw deal when I see one. You've got a thriving business. Or perhaps it's not as big as Bauman Electronics, but you are their chief competitor. And yet you suddenly agree to a takeover which reduces your position in the new company to that of a glorified office boy. What was it Bauman had on you?
Ushi! Ushi! A little more to the left! Oh, a little bit more! Hello, Mrs. Temple. Welcome to the headquarters of the Anti-Fashing Brigade.
Who told you?
I'm afraid it was your son.
I don't understand what I'm made of these days. You try to live down the mistakes of your past, you built up an empire all for them. When it's threatened, you scheme to cushion them against your own defeat. Who do you think persuaded Bauman to accept Hans as his son-in-law? It was the one condition I stood firm on. And then they throw it all in your face.
Are you saying that Bauman blackmailed you into parting with your company because he found out about your political inclinations? No, Mr. Schroeder, that's all old hat. Nobody bothers about that kind of thing nowadays.
But there is no other reason.
Oh, yes, there is. There's a very good reason. 15 million marks worth of reason. Handouts to government departments for large contracts. Political influence. This is what Bauman had on you. You know, you could go to prison for a very long time for this kind of dealing.
These are things, Mr. Temple, which do not concern you. Take my advice. Ignore them.
Threats?
I'm not alone. There are others, influential people, who won't be inclined to treat your indiscreet meddling as lightly as I do.
Oh, I'm sure. So Bauman plays one of his famous tricks. He stages a disappearing act, he asks you to help him, and you see your chance.
What are you talking
What
about?
have you done with him?
Why should I play tricks on Bauman? I have nothing to gain and everything to lose.
You have everything to gain if Bauman disappears for good.
All right, everybody! All right, quiet down! Quiet down! Just to preserve the form! Quiet, I said! Take no notice of this, though. We'll keep it informal, so carry on with whatever you're doing. We've got to be ready for tonight. Meanwhile, bring in the prisoner.
Why did Hans tell me you were in trouble?
To make sure you'd come.
Lucky hasn't this nonsense gone far enough.
Mr. Bauman, do you recognize this court?
I'm having a little trouble recognizing anything.
Well, actually, it doesn't make any difference if you do or do not.
Funny, very funny.
But perhaps for your comfort.
Well, I might have known.
Hello, Father.
Uschi.
Good evening, Mr. Bauman.
Very good. Oh, yes. Couldn't have done better myself. Perhaps a little exaggerated, but very good. All right, the joke's over. Let's go.
I don't think so, Father.
You don't what?
We're not playing your game. We're playing our game now.
Game? What game?
Singing your songs, jumping to your tune.
I have something to say to you later.
No, no more. This is the abdication of your prince and princess, Mr. Bauman. Dissolution of engagement. A plague on both our houses. Free love, anarchy, and death to Fasching.
I've had enough of this farce. Let me go!
Silence! We will now proceed to the indictment. Friedrich Joachim Baumann, you stand arraigned upon the following charges. Item, that you do perpetuate the anachronism of Fasching.
You don't say.
Item, that you do subvert your own flesh and blood to that purpose.
Purpose? What purpose?
That you do worship false idols, to wit, Mammon and the god of affluence.
You must be mad.
Jointly and severally upon all these charges, this court confers the sentence of death.
What?
Ah, she has a job to do. Sentence of death?
Uschi, what is all this?
This is the party, Mr. Bauman. You'll, of course, join us.
You? That's what he says, but it's preposterous.
Who has the keys to your husband's office?
He has, I suppose.
And who else?
Don't know. The secretary.
Yes, but she's away on our honeymoon, so how do we explain where you got them, unless you got them from Bauman?
But I didn't.
I got them from Hans, and Hans said he got them from you. Everything points to you, Mr. Schroeder. You knew that I was in that office. Your car came here last night.
I left the ball last night almost immediately after you.
In your car?
The Hans drove me home. I went immediately to bed, and he went back to the ball.
In your car?
Hans? But what could he have to do with this?
Yes. Just a moment. He's here. Your wife.
Hello, Steve? Yes? No, calm down, calm down. Now, where are you?
I just ran. I thought they were right behind me.
And they weren't?
I don't know.
Sentence of
Yes, and believe me, Paul, I think they meant it.
You say it was an anti-fashion brigade?
There's nothing but a bunch of...
Your son is amongst them now. Is that by choice or under your orders?
Now, look, Temple.
Well, there's only one way to find out. We've got to go to this party.
I can't remember where it is.
Come on now, Steve. Think. You must be able to remember something about the area.
Oh, I came out the house and I just ran. Well, I ended up in the market, but the house... It was in that district that's like a bit like Chelsea.
Oh, Schwabing.
Schwabing, yes.
That's a very large area.
Well, you must be able to find out where this headquarters is.
It's hopeless.
You mean you don't want to?
All right, I'll do my best.
Now, you take that note, yeah? These youngsters say they don't like Fasching. Well, what is all this then? What is it? And kidnapping me. Isn't that the biggest Fasching joke of the season? It's magnificent. You see, they just can't resist it. It's in their blood.
The press are having a field day. I wonder does he realize what a fool he's making of himself.
I wish it were over.
No, we gotta go all the way. Maximum publicity for the death of Fasching.
Uschi! You've defeated your own object. You realize that, don't you? You're promoting Fasching, not destroying it.
Fasching will die. We shall kill it.
Oh, not tonight, you won't. Look around here. They're all enjoying themselves. That's Fasching. Ah. I'm drunk and I'm tired. Help me down. Ah. I you youngsters enjoying all fuzzing in the good old tradition?
You can't go yet, Father. The fun is just beginning.
What's wrong, Mr. Bowman? Haven't you got the stamina?
I'll show you. Give me a bottle!
Yes, thank you. I found it.
Good.
Shall we go?
I'm having a marvelous time, you know. Here's the fuzzing. Where to? Upstairs here? A new game? A new game, yes. Oh, fine. That's good. A new game. Oh, no! Are you crazy? Guy, give me your help!
No.
Did you think it was funny? I didn't think it was funny.
No, I didn't think it was funny.
Paul, what I want to know is what was a hoax and what was for real, and who was fooling whom. Or was it all a hoax for our benefit? Schroeder and Bauman, the engagement and the kidnapping, everything?
Well, we shall never know, shall we?
Mm-hmm.